Hey, what's up and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today I'm talking about the latest musical that hit the shelves, and this one is Dear Evan Hansen. Dear Evan Hansen is ultimately about Evan Hansen, a down-on-his-luck, socially anxious kid who is tasked on writing himself letters of encouragement. But when his letter is intercepted by another student that ends up killing himself, the letter is mistaken as a suicide note that Evan Hansen has to explain, and he does so by saying the two of them were actually friends. And one lie turns to another in this film. But can a lie like this ever be a positive thing? So I had heard about this film for a few months now, but only about a week ago did I actually learn that it was a musical based off of Broadway, which immediately spiked my interest because I have not seen a musical all year, and I wish that there were more that came out every year than there is. But Dear Evan Hansen is definitely an interesting one, and I did very much get invested in the music. However, it's becoming increasingly clear to me that not everybody loves this movie. In some regards, I do understand why, and it completely depends on who you are, on if you enjoy it or not. So hear me out. So let's first start off with the reasons why I think that people don't like this movie. This is a film that already surrounds a very touchy subject. The death or suicide of a young man. Very, very touchy stuff. From there, it goes into the foundation of the story, which is all based on a lie. Yeah, I knew this kid. We were friends. Yeah, which is directly lying to the kid who died's parents and his sister. Okay, so already a foundation that isn't the strongest. And later on in the film, you get the idea, based off of some of the dialogue, that the reason why he did it in the first place was for selfish reasons. The kid who died was born into a rich family, for instance, and Evan is poor, and he has a crush on the sister of the family. And it's really easy to get the idea that he lied because he wanted to get closer to the sister and to know what it's like to live rich, so to speak. All of this is really sketchy, gray area crap, and I kind of hate the movie at one point tried to explain his actions as selfish. That scene alone will have people enraged and hate the film, and I think that's why so many already do. If that's the case for you, I don't judge you one bit, but there is more to the story here than just that one scene. Evan is socially awkward, and the way that he's presented is believable in that regard. You know, he's paranoid, he's sad, he feels alone, and he's mostly cornered into that lie in the first place, which he perpetuates, of course, because he doesn't want to hurt the kid's family. And this is the type of film that, even though it is a lie, it's the kind of lie that gives people hope. This kid who killed himself hid himself away from his family. His family didn't even really know him before he killed himself, and he didn't even leave a suicide note. And what Evan did, which, not the greatest, granted, was made that family feel like they knew their son. It gave them hope. It gave them a reason not to feel guilty for certain things. This lie that Evan told goes on to create a project for other youths that feel alone and in despair. It theoretically saved other lives, but yes, it is all based on a lie. It's just that often toes the line between selfishness and selflessness. So going back to what I said earlier about depending on who you are, on if you enjoy it or not, I think it depends on how shallow you are. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean, it takes a minute to look at the film from an objective standpoint and think outside the box a little bit, because it does not offer the audience everything as an explanation through dialogue. The only thing that it does through dialogue is say that the whole thing is selfish and horrible, which is where people get that idea. They don't think deeper than that because they don't feel like they need to. But I'm telling you right now, please take that selfish stuff with a grain of salt and look at the bigger picture, because this movie is definitely telling an important lesson or a moral. Now that I got that off my chest, I just wanted to quickly go over some of the things that the film does well. Acting is one. I know some people have an issue with Evan Hansen's age. I personally did not, specifically because of Ben Platt's mannerisms that he does. Made me believe that he was actually the correct age, and he kills it in the role. So much so that I can't think of anybody else that would fit the role so well whatsoever. He is that good, as is everybody else in the role. This is a very well-acted film from everybody involved. Some of the songs, likewise, are littered with emotion from the singers. The tone of the film is very ranged, with sadness, joy, hope. Some may make you laugh, while others make you tear up. The only real negative that I have to say about this film comes down to the narrative choices, given how nothing is specifically an end goal for any of the characters. It's just one of those movies that follows these characters around as maybe a snowball effect gets worse and worse, which is often what the movies like this do when they're founded on lies. So it's not about anything specifically. Let's go ahead and break down my final score. From a technical unbiased perspective, I definitely really liked these characters, their chemistry together, the way the film was cast. I thought it was deeply meaningful altogether, the music was fantastic, and the pacing flowed together perfectly. This score is a pretty darn good 88%. As for how I felt about it overall, or my bias score, this is a little bit lower, but not by much because I did have a good time with it. I felt for these characters, I enjoyed the music, but I don't really foresee myself buying the movie, for instance. I may rewatch it at a later date, who knows? But overall, it is a very decent musical. This score is 80%, meaning at the very end of the day, my final score is 84%, 84 out of 100 possible stars, or a B+ letter grade. Guys, have you seen Dear Evan Hansen? And if you have, what are your thoughts on it? Do you think it is a good musical? Do you think that they got the message that the film was trying to convey out? And do you think they told it correctly? Let me know. And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come up with my next review. And until then, peace out!
Dave examines movies we just watch for fun. Davey is the expert.